So the new rear end is going to be sporting a lovely, strange aluminum center section. And one of the nice things we like to do is to actually use a satin finish clear designed to go directly over metal to seal this up so that over time you can always just hose her down and she always looks nice and beautiful. So I'm getting ready to tape it up and shoot it in clear. Alright, the first coat's been applied and you can see a little bit of gloss here and there. That's going to dry to a satin finish, so you won't even be able to tell that's on there. And I'll end up doing 3 coats, and that'll protect everything from grease and dirt and ugliness. Alright, we are unloading the completed rear end, freshly powder coated. Joe's already installed the center section and the disc brake rotors, and he's now backing it up in the forklift. We're going to be doing some interesting innovation here, trying to use our large jack stands with some wheel rollers underneath them to avoid having to put this on our shoulders because of my back. So if anything goes wrong, it's my fault as usual because of my bad back. Now, if only Joe can learn to drive the forklift. I'm going to have to put the camera down in a moment and guide that. So then I'll pick it back up once we have it on the stands and we'll see what happens. Well, as you can see, the rolling jack stand trick seems to be working. We now have the rear end positioned underneath, getting ready to mount the trailing arms and give us something to hook the rear end to so that we can then quit worrying about this gorgeous rear end taking a dive. Not worried about the floor, not worried about my body, I'm worried about the rear end for this gorgeous Lincoln. That'd be wrong. All right, look at this. Rear end is successfully installed without any mishaps. Trailing arms are hooked up. It's looking great. Bags are on there. Right now it's hanging from the bags, but we're going to let it down on these jack stands tonight until we get back on it again. Anyway, man, this is a fine looking rear end. I'd say this is a better looking rear end than J-Lo. Oh, yes, I said it. So Joe has the rear end in enough that we could actually push it up and see what it's going to look like slammed. So that right there is slam position. I love it, man. That's going to be so badass. All right, time for a Mr. Lincoln update. So Joe has successfully installed the new Ford 9-inch, the wheel-wood brake system on the back, and the airbag suspension system, all that like we talked about earlier. But the really interesting thing was his solution for the drive shaft, because it turns out that this Ford 9-inch, the carrier here is at a much higher position than the one from the factory. That strange Dyna 53 had a much lower setting, and so with a very shallow tunnel here, Joe had to solve this problem. So Joe, why don't you explain what you've done here?
Alright, so what we have is originally the factory drive shaft had what we refer to as a pencil neck shaft right here. So it was about 1.5 inches in diameter solid steel down on the floor.
So you can see right here's what he's talking about with the pencil neck. Strange. Alright.
And considering the power we're going to put into the car, we wanted a solid, good drive shaft. So here we have a 3-inch tube, and we did a 2-part drive shaft. From here forward, the drive shaft is stable, and it will not flex up and down with the axle as it moves, and it connects to the transmission. And then here we have a carrier bearing that, with a universal behind it over here, that allows it to then go up as the axle travels up and down while you drive down the road. So only this part of the axle will actually move, or the drive shaft will move as the axle moves up and down.
Excellent. Good job. All right, folks. Next up would be the front disc brakes. We ran into a snafu with one of the vendors. They sent us some really junky stuff, and we will be starting on that soon, as soon as the parts arrive. Thanks. Small addendum to the video. Joe started it, and it's actually spinning, and he's taking it up to see how things work with the
You've already taken it all the way up, make sure that's fine, right?
looking good. Remember those bags hold air, Joe.
I know, I was just throwing out on that.
You're going to lift it off the
Alan,
lift.
watch the lift right there for me.
Slow down, let it.
They won't let back. You'll lift it off the lift. We did it yesterday.
The bags have enough air in them that they'll start to lift the car.
do that.
All right,
We're
let's do
doing
it.
that.
All right, Joe, so after that fiasco with the front disc kit from, well, we're not going to say the name, what'd you settle on here?
So the owner wants to stay with the smaller 15-inch steel wheels with large white wall tires. And in doing so, we have to stick with the smaller factory brakes.
All right.
So the 64 only had drums. And what we're doing here is we're upgrading this to the 65 to 69 Lincoln spindle that fits on the exact same factory control arms.
Right.
And so we have that spindle in place here. That will have a 4-piston Kelsey Hayes style caliper. So that'll help stop the car, and we'll have the actual disc brake upgrade here for the vehicle.
So where did you get all these parts?
We reached out to a Lincoln specialist, Lincoln Land, out of Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah.
They set us up with all the vintage pieces. You can't buy this spindle new, you can't get the hub new, you can't get the splash guard for the back new, but they helped us out on sourcing that and then set us up with a new set of rotors and calipers, brand new out of the box
Now,
calipers.
what about all that new front end stuff I installed? Do we have to redo any of that?
I don't know, you installed it, we're going to have to double check it like 3 times.
Funny.
No, it looks good, and we have on here, we have...
So the 65, 69 spindles still work with the same?
Yep, and it even works with the chopping block air suspension we have underneath the car. And so here you'll see the Kelsey Hayes, and I don't know if you can get in there, Mitch, but if you look inside, this is a factory 4-piston caliper, and very strong caliper, will definitely help stop the vehicle.
Now, the calipers are new, rotors are new, but the hubs and spindles are factory
Right.
originals that we found from a good source.
Right.
All right, looks good, man.
Awesome.
Thanks. Here comes Mr. Lincoln, rolling down the road. Rolling on the new airbag suspension, new disc brakes, new Ford 9-inch, new 2-piece drive shaft. Only thing left is to get that nasty gas motor out of there, man, and go all electric. But the owner would like to come to Austin and drive a car that he's never actually sat in or seen before. So we're gonna leave her running as she is with her nice little cherry bombs. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna give him a little lesson on what the airbag system can do. All right, Joe, you ready? Slam the front, just the front. Oh, sweet. Now show Mama laying down on the ground, flat. Go for it, man. Oh, yeah. That's a murdered out Lincoln. Oh, yeah. Love it. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, Joe. Pull her in.